Hello, welcome back to my channel. Is anyone else in the mood for some really good yeast rolls? You know, the kind that you can get at the steakhouse? I don't know why. It's been years since I've been to a steakhouse. Anyway, if you choose to join me in this, you're gonna need a cup of milk that's been scalded. You're gonna need a quarter of a cup of melted shortening or butter. You're gonna need a quarter of a cup of sugar. You're gonna need a teaspoon of salt. You're gonna need an egg, and you'll need some flour that's been sifted. I sifted out 3.5 cups. You'll need a tablespoon of yeast and a quarter of a cup of lukewarm water. So go ahead and gather those things together if you're choosing to do this. Pause the video and I will join you in just a few minutes. In a large bowl, beat the egg until it is creamy. I'm not gonna bore you with this. I'll keep doing it. After you've beat the egg, beat in the salt and the sugar that you've pre-measured, and then gradually add the scalded milk. Mix that all around. It's going to help to melt the sugar. And then the next thing I'm adding to this is the melted butter. You can use butter or shortening. Make sure that the sugar is dissolving, seems to be, yep. And so this is going to cool until it's just lukewarm, where if I were to drop a little bit on my wrist, it's not going to feel hot or cold. At that point, I'm going to start adding half of my sifted flour. While the milk and butter sugar combination is cooling down, I'm adding the yeast to a quarter of a cup of warm water to get that to start proofing. Let that do its thing here. Just poured in the first cup of flour. Starting to mix that around with a spatula. And you can see that the yeast is beginning to proof. So as soon as this gets well blended in, and I'll keep doing this, the next thing to add in will be the yeast in the lukewarm water. Okay, I'm pouring in the yeast in the warm water. I'm gonna get that mixed in next. It's hard to hold the camera and mix at the same time. That's what I'm doing. So that's how it's looking now. And I have found always to stir the dough in the same direction, whether you go clockwise or counterclockwise, throughout the whole process seems to encourage the gluten to stretch and connect all in the similar energetic spiral. Anybody else have that experience? Let me know in the comments below. My next step is to continue to add flour until I've used the flour, all the flour I have, or until it feels like there's sufficient flour in this dough mix. So I'm going to go ahead and do that next. So there's maybe 3/4 to 1/2 cup of flour left. This is how the dough is looking now. And so the next thing to do is to pour some melted butter all over the dough and around in the bowl, and just to spread it around, flip it around a little bit. It's staying nice and warm, and this is going to go by the wood stove for about 2 hours. Alternately, if you didn't have time today to make the rolls, you could go ahead, put the butter on top of the floured dough mix, go ahead and cover the bowl and put it into the refrigerator overnight, and then the next day you would take it out and let it get back up to room temperature for about 2 hours, and then roll the dough out after you've kneaded it a little bit. But I've got time today. It's a rainy day. I'm going to go put this by the wood stove for about 2 hours, and I'll see you in just a little while. So the fire is going, and I just set the bowl down there covered up. I went ahead and thoroughly cleaned and sterilized with my vodka mixture. I don't drink it, but I use it to sterilize countertops. Everything's wiped down. I put the flour, I got the rolling pin all set, so as soon as the dough is done rising, we'll go ahead and get started on making these rolls. Well, this rain is making it get greener outside. It's been 2 hours. There's a cat getting toasted like a marshmallow under the wood stove. And oh yeah, look at that. All right, time to go punch that down, knead it, and roll it out. I'm listening to Curtis Stone. He's talking to people in a live chat today looking at property. So I'm going to go ahead and dump this out on the counter and knead it for a while and then roll it out. Okay, I've got that rolled out to just about a ½ inch thickness, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less. Okay, there we go. So here we go. I've cut them, sort of shaped them a little bit, put them on a buttered baking sheet, and I'm melting butter to put on them, and then they will sit out by the wood stove for another 2 hours till they raise up a little bit. Okay, so now you can see the glaze of melted butter over top of them. I'm going to lightly cover them again and put them by the wood stove. Okay, y'all. Woo! It's been 2 hours and a little bit. I just got the oven heating up to 450, so these are going to go in there for about 8 to 10 minutes. There we go. Well, there they are. I'll let you know in a minute when they cool down somewhat if it was worth all the time and effort. Super hot. Oh, like a little cloud. Ooh. Yes, it was definitely worth the time it took to do this today. Oh my, I wish y'all were here. Okay, see you in the next video.